Hey Coach, this is Coach Simpson. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If it's your first time here, I'd appreciate it if you would subscribe to this channel or like this video if you do. There's plenty of content here. I've got a ton of information on this channel as well as my website, fbcoachsimpson.com. I want to give a quick shout out to Coach Jason Lowe. I'm repping his gear that he sent. Really proud of what his team was able to do this year. Pretty cool that I've got the nice swag, and I'm definitely going to rock it. Be proud of them for having a great year this year. Today though, I want to talk about one real quick concept that we're trying to do, and we do it multiple ways. So whether you run my offense or you run a similar offense, or you're just kind of looking for RPOs on the backside of whatever your base run play is, whether that's outside zone, whether that's pin and pull, or whether you want to run a little buck sweep action, all of this stuff works. This is stuff that's kind of been a conglomeration from multiple offenses. So it's nothing that I uniquely came up with, but it's the idea of being able to read any player on the backside of some type of run going this direction. So if we're going to run the ball to the right, generally a wider run, probably not really a downhill type run, although you can marry it with that, but some type of more outside type run, whether that's stretch, pin and pull. We have a play we call Trojan. It could be buck sweep, anything that's kind of going to hit this direction, and you can even do it off of an ISO look if your quarterback's able to do it. But we want to have the ability to have quick terminology to run an RPO off of any player. And you're starting to see this now at the collegiate level, even at the NFL level. It's really, really fun to watch. Some of these high-profile offenses just kind of mix this in every now and then. The old school way people used to teach outside zone, which is the first guy to come up with it, Rich Rodriguez, in my opinion. They came up with reading the backside player. So of course we can read pass plays. I'm going to focus today with quick terminology to read inside players. And this needs to be your terminology, what you tell your kids. And so a lot of times what happens is, as coaches, we shy away from running RPOs on the backside because we feel like it's a huge investment. You know, that how in the world am I going to teach 11 teenagers or whatever age level you teach to do this? Well, what we try to do with our terminology is only talk to really one or potentially two players, our center and our backside tackle. Of course, we flop linemen, so in our offense, it's only two players that need to learn a couple different terminology terms, basically, that can help them understand, okay, we're not going to follow our base rule because we're changing it to X, Y, or Z. Of course, it all comes down to the guy you're snapping the ball to. You know, can he handle this? We think it simplifies the game for him because it gets him looking at one player. And instead of looking at the overall concept, you know, most decent quarterbacks can read a player, can read one player, or they're probably not your quarterback, especially if you're going to be in the gun. So we want to have terminology in place where we can read the backside. Maybe it's a 5 technique or outside back or whatever you're calling. First guy outside. For us, we don't have to call anything for that. You know, we have no words for that. We don't have to, because our base rules, let's say we're running, I'm just going to draw a buck. It could be whatever you want to run. So we're getting something along the lines of this. Our base rules are we're going to do that. You know, we're basically going to gap hinge, gap protect. So if we got a guy inside, I'd be cutting or trying to reach him or whatever we're doing there. Same thing with our center. Okay, and in our base blocking rules, we're going to have a guy accounting for backside, inside linebacker. Okay, so we call nothing. You know, we know that's what we're looking at, and we're reading that. If for whatever reason this guy is out of the box covering, or he's blitzing down the heel line, or whatever, our quarterback knows that's not even, we don't even have a term for that. That's just our base. When you start getting the RPO world is where you start getting, okay, we want to use these terminologies. I'm going to say RRO because I'm going to get out of the pass world here and focus just on the runs. Okay, so now we want a word that tells our quick tackle, or for you it may just be your tackle, that instead of blocking gap protection, we want to outside release and block here, and now we want to read this interior defensive lineman. You can use whatever word you want to use there. We've used different words through different years, but it needs to be a word that talks to this guy and this guy. And everyone else on the team just hears the play call. So if it's buck, they hear buck, and then whatever your term is for I want you to block out, and I want your eyes to go there and read that player instead of another player. Okay, we have another one we use if we want to read this player. So let's say more of a 3-front or 4-front type team. So we have some kind of look like this, okay, where we want to go ahead and block here and read here. Well, that's another word we're going to have. It may just affect our quarterback on that. Just letting him know, now your eyes are going to move here, and you're going to read this player. If he does X, you do Y. If you're a throwing team, that could be a lot of time those glance routes, we call them peak. Those routes behind him come where you can throw it. If he's a runner, he may pull it and run through the gap that's left. However you want to do that in your offense. And then we now are starting to run almost a midline type option. Okay, where now we're going to have a word that talks to our center. So for us, we can do it a couple different ways. Usually against like a normal front. We're going to gap protect here. He's going to be involved with the twin, so he's out of the box. And we want to read, maybe it's a nose we can't get blocked. I get a lot of guys ask me, hey, you want to run buck sweep? But this guy is killing us. He's getting in the guard's pocket. We can't get him reached. We're having to dedicate another blocker to him. And that's realistic. So we now want a term that talks to our center. It's going to tell him release second level, block here, and we're now going to read the nose. Very much a midline type concept. Here we go. Read him. Okay, if he flies like we think he is, pull it, and the quarterback runs here. But it gives us the ability now to read any defender with the run on the back side of the quarterback with quick terminology. And I'm not trying to hide what we do. I've put out plenty of materials. You can go to my website and see whatever we do. But it needs to be in your verbiage, in your terminology, and don't shy away from it because it starts to make the play a little wordy. So for example, we want to run buck with some kind of concept here, and then we want to run the RPO for an offensive coordinator. You start to kind of go, man, that's a lot of words. That's buck, maybe bubble, and then whatever your word is. Let's say your word is lock, or whatever your word's going to be that talks to this kid. So you're starting to get more verby, and that's not too bad there, but we throw emotion in there, and now we added a 4th word. Well, a lot of people get shy from that because they think our kids can't handle it. Well, the reality is, it's simple for them. These guys hear buck, they block buck. These guys hear whatever the pass concept is, they run the pass concept. The only guy that's got to know both of them is you and the guy catching the snap. So it's not as hard, but you have to build in that terminology. And I put the word quick up here because a lot of times we have certain things we like, certain things we're going to rep, but a lot of times we will line up, see what they're in, and make that quick call. It's the quarterback to the player. Everyone else can kind of ignore it, like a check at the line, to let us know what we're going to read. And the ability to do that quickly, to have that terminology built in, allows us to do so. If you are a run team at any level, if you're in the gun at any level, to me, being able to read multiple backside players puts a huge strain on the defense. One week you may be playing a team that you can't block a certain guy, so we're going to read him. One week, this team may be slanting a certain way, and so we want to take advantage of this guy. And having that terminology allows you to do so. It's been great for us. We got a kind of a runner at quarterback this year who's really taken advantage of it, made me look really good. It's always good to have good players. But the ability for us to read any player here is going to force the defense almost to slow play our run game, to keep guys home in slow play. So now we don't have to worry about those backside fitters on, for us, buck or whatever other run we're going to do. It's been really good to us. Hopefully it can maybe help you out a little bit. If you want to know exactly how we do things, I'll walk through all of it. You go to my website, fbcoachsimpson.com, or you can just search, go to the Gun Tees section of this YouTube channel. You'll find plenty of videos in there that walk through a lot of it. Appreciate your time. Again, big shout out to Coach Lowe. Appreciate the swag. Have a good day.